Welcome to Local Edition on Time Warner Cable. I'm Steve Swatt with the Sacramento Report. In the next few minutes, we're going to talk about dealing with unsustainable water systems in new, smaller communities. My guest this segment is Bob Wieckowski, a member of the State Senate from Fremont in Northern California. Thank you for very much for being with us.
Well, thank you very much for having me, Steve.
So let's talk about the issue. A number of these smaller communities, developed by home builders, of course, are springing up continually around the state of California, and you see a real and potential problem with these water systems.
Right. We're talking about these really small systems, less than 200 hookups. And what's happening is when they go through the permitting process, they just show that they can, set up the pipes and they can provide an initial supply of water or waste. But what they don't show is long-term capacity or financial capacity or the technological know-how to comply with the California and the Federal Safe Drinking Water Act. So that's the problem, is that they get their permit and then there's no
and there's no long-term planning or knowledge of water supply, perhaps, also.
Right, and some of them will even say to get the permit from the city or whatever locality that we're going to import the water. We're going to import the water, or we're going to put up septic, and we have competing environmental concerns that we have in Southern California and in areas that are already not complying with the Safe Drinking Water Act.
So you have some legislation that is causing a bit of a stir that basically would increase government oversight in terms of the planning process, correct?
Right, and it also requires the proponent to seek out the existing water supply or the sewer system, see if they can actually hook up with that. Maybe they need to consolidate with another small provider, but do a little bit more groundwork other than saying we're gonna build these 100 houses or 100 mobile homes, and this is how we're going to address it.
There are some home builders, though, that say they do this really as a last resort, that they would just as soon have a major public water system annex this little community or extend their water system to this little community, but then they say no, and they have no choice.
Right. Well, and that's why we're introducing the bill, and I want to work with them because I don't think most Californians realize that there are over 7,600 public water systems that exist. Some of them, over 60 of them, are like schools, a school district that is a public water system because once upon a time they did it. But so now when we have more pressures, we're in a drought, we have more pressure, we need information about that well goes dry. It gets overdrawn, that we need, other than just the proponent, the state water board, the regional water board, to work with these folks and to see what's your long-term plan.
I know the California Chamber of Commerce has weighed in, and so far they are opposed to this legislation. Is there a possibility that this legislation and the fallout from it could put a crimp on development, for example?
Well, I mean, there's a possibility. It may be a pause because we don't want to build junk, or we don't want to build houses or have people in communities that are going to become environmental nightmares, or they're going to overdraft the well that's there because nobody has to provide the technological back information that shows that this is a sustainable growth. I think when we build in California, we want to build well, and we want to make sure when you buy a home, you're going to have the people who run the sewer system and the water district are going to have the technology to make it a safe place.
All right. Senator Wieckowski, thank you very much for coming by and talking about this really important issue, especially in Southern California, which is seeing some of these communities pop up. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
And thanks to our viewers for watching Local Edition on Time Warner Cable. A reminder, you can see this and other interviews on YouTube, on My Government On Demand, also the California channel.